Hello, 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 and welcome to Beyond the Launch TV. I am your host, Attorney LaKanya Murray of Off the Mark IP Solutions, where we help clients throughout the United States with trademarks, copyright, and business development solutions. How are you all? Thank you so much for joining me this Thursday afternoon, our first official Ask Me Thursday for 2018. Decided to bring this segment back by popular demand. I realized that it is a very great resource for those entrepreneurs who just have general questions and need some little direction of where to go and what's wrong and what's right. And also it helps you when you do actually talk to a brand attorney or someone about your trademark, your copyright, or something going on in your business. You're able to ask better questions. And today's question is an excellent question, referring to the post that we did last week. It says, awesome, thank you. I get so confused with this stuff. Some say that I should just trademark in the state instead of all over. Then I remember calling somewhere before and they said, no, you register in your town, which I did, so I have the business certificate. So that's one issue. Then the second issue is, I don't know what one like me can do on their own budget and still trying to get out there, but they want to be protected. So I think that is really great question. So it's really two questions. One, where do you register? Do you register in the state? Do you register all over? Like, which one should you do? And the second one, like, what do you do when you're first starting out and you're balling on a budget? So very good question. And when you come in, just say your name, say, hey, let me know you're here. And before we get started with this question, so our caveat is that the information that I'm providing is not legal advice. It is legal information, okay? If you have specific questions or questions specific to your business, absolutely feel free to reach out to me and schedule a consultation where we can answer your specific questions and you can get specific solutions to whatever you're going on in your situation. Right now, what we have are general questions. First question is like, where should I register? Do I register in my state? Do I register all over? Do I register local? Like, what does all this mean? So actually, you have three things that they're talking about, which I'm glad you asked this question because I want you to be wary of where you get your advice from. Everyone, they mean well, but they don't always know well. So when they're referring to you to get something local, what they're talking about is to register your trade name with your Secretary of State, meaning, letting them know that you're doing business. When you do that, when you register with the Secretary of State, that has nothing to do with your trademark. That's just, the state wants to keep up with who's doing business in that state so they can make their money. That's all that's about. It has nothing to do with trademark protection. Hey, Chanel, sometimes, hey, Dolly, a lot of times your trade name, which is the name that you do business in and people know you, it's not the same as your business name, which is registered with the state. I always give the example. Our business name is Murray Law Group, LLC, but our trade name is Off the Mark and Off the Mark IP Solutions. And they're two different things. So if I register the Murray Law Group, LLC with the state, it has nothing to do with me using Off the Mark as a trade name. So that's number one. Number two, so now we want to talk about state versus federal. So with state trademarks, they will protect you. So we had an issue. I had a colleague, hey Dolly, I had a colleague maybe last year. She had a client that had a business, I think it was like Shark Tales or something like that. They sold seafood. And then there was another Shark Tales in the state that also sold seafood, but they're two different businesses. They're only doing business in the state of Alabama and nowhere else. And so the one that was located somewhere else actually filed a state trademark. And so the reason you would want to file a state trademark is if you're only doing business in your particular state and you want to make sure that no one else in your state has that same business, has that same trade name. Okay? So if you're only doing business in the state, you might want to consider doing a state trademark. If you are concerned with someone else taking your state name. And remember, the state trademark is not the same as you reserving the name and registering that name or reserving that name as a business name. It needs to be a trademark. So let's talk about, let's back up for those people that are new. What is a trademark? So remember, trademarks protect brand identifiers. And those brand identifiers are those things that help consumers make informed decisions. They help them know the source of a good or a service. the source of a good or a service. So if you have something and it's not identifying the source of a good or a service, when you don't have a trademark. So let's run through a test. Let's do a trademark test. Let's do a test on whether or not you need a state trademark or a federal trademark. First question is, are you providing a good or a service? Or is your mark associated with a good or a service? And remember, that can be your trade name, that can be a logo, that can be, last week we talked about, it can be trade dress, certain packaging. Is it associated with a good or a service? If the answer is yes, we're going to move on to the second question. The second question is, are you providing is that good or service available in commerce? And so when we talk about in commerce, we're going to take it back to like 6th grade social studies, and in commerce means in between states. Because the federal government, we're talking about federal trademarks, federal only has control of things that are in between states. So if the answer to your question is yes, then we are on track for federal trademark. We have another question we need to ask. If the answer is no, then we're looking more at a state trademark. If you are not in commerce, if you're not doing business in multiple states, then that means that you don't qualify for a federal trademark, okay? And doing business does not mean that you actually have a physical presence in that state. Like, I do business I have clients throughout the United States. I'm located in Alabama, but I have clients throughout the United States. And so I'm doing in commerce. Does internet only sales count as in commerce if your clients are in the United States? So that means if you are internet only sales and you only have clients that are in Georgia or only serve people that are in a certain state, then no, it does not. But if you do internet only sales and you have clients in Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, New York, blah, 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 you get what I'm saying, then yes, you are in commerce. And that's similar to me. Like, I have clients in Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, like I have clients everywhere. And so I provide, even though I'm located, I have a physical presence in Alabama, I provide services in commerce. And so with that being said, so we're providing a good or a service, check. We are in commerce, or maybe we're not in commerce, depending on where we are. The third question we want to ask ourselves when it comes to trademarks is, how would you feel? How would you feel if someone was using your mark? And I ask that question because there are some people who are doing business and they have a trade name and they have certain products and different services and packages that they have these special names for, but they really don't care if someone else uses it, And if that's the case, if you really don't care if someone else is using it, then I wouldn't advise that you invest in a trademark. Because if you don't really care if someone's going to use it, that means that you won't care to enforce it. If you don't, getting the trademark is only the first step. If you're not going to enforce it, then there's no need of even getting the trademark. If you're not going to make sure that someone else is not using your mark, because think about it, trademarks are unique to you. They're your way of making sure that consumers know that this is your service, this is your good. They're working with you and what to expect. Okay? So when we're talking about state versus federal, if you're only doing business in your state, then you want to consider getting a state trademark. If you are doing business in commerce, or if you even have plans to do business in commerce, then you want to do a federal trademark. Okay? So that is a great question. That's the first. How much does it cost? How much does a federal trademark cost? It depends on the type of mark you get. It depends. Their fees vary from $225 all the way up to like $425 is their fee. And then my fee varies depending on what you need, and I don't like to give that out without talking to you first. So I need to know if you have a word mark or a logo mark, in commerce, not in commerce. We do a whole analysis. But definitely call us, you can call us at 334-523-0022, or you can go to iprotectbrands.com and fill out the contact form, and we'll call you to schedule an appointment. So that's cool. And if you have a question that you want to submit for Ask Me Thursday, have it to me by Wednesday. You can go to the Off the Mark Facebook page and you can DM us, direct message us. Or you can email us at hello@offthemarkipsolutions.com. Your question, Facebook will probably be the easiest. Oh, you're so welcome. And this was great. Yeah, join us 2 p.m. next Thursday.